Good morning, Earthlings. Good morning, everyone. Aaron here, aka AJ, aka Papa. It is January 25th, 2019. It's for sure 2020. It's been for almost an entire month now. I don't know why I can't get it through my head. It is January 25th, 2020, and I am back with another vlog to feast your eyes and ears, indubitably upon my little morsels of sweet, good, gracious love schnooky. It was a struggle getting out of bed this morning, and I think it's just because we had a lot going on yesterday. I didn't end up delivering, but we had company, which was so much fun. Played Cards Against Humanity. I got to meet one of Zach's friends from Louisville, and Zach got some good time in with his friend Josh playing some video games and just hanging out, which is always so nice for him, and so nice to have Josh around. He's got such a fun spirit, and his friend from Louisville was super sweet and very, very lovely to have around as well. So it was a good evening, but man, I am struggling today, but I feel like I say that every morning. I need to stop. I feel good. Yesterday, even with us having company over, I spent a lot of time reading in The Lightning Thief, and I am over halfway through now, and I just am really enjoying it. I'm tearing through the book, because I'm really interested in the storyline, and then also because it's just a little bit, since it's considered young adult reading, it's a little bit easier to just kind of plow through at my reading level. So I am certainly enjoying the ease of reading something that doesn't take a ton of energy to kind of process and understand and all that. So I'm really enjoying that book quite a bit. I'm already have book 2. I've already bought that, so I'm looking forward to diving right into book 2 after that. And I think after I get finished with the series, I don't know. I have some ideas, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll get back to that another time. I have no pain today, which is remarkable. Some stiffness, yes, and that's, I guess, to be expected, especially with me working out and such. But yeah, no pain today, so I'm super grateful for that. My days of waking up in full-on pain I feel like they're coming to an end, and I'm so excited for that because it's been a while. It's been a while that I've been kind of dealing with these back issues and such. So we're making progress, and it's all because I put my mind to something and I focused on something different, and it's really making a huge difference. My mom's going to be in town today. She's bringing my brother up because he referees here in town, and so she's going to bring him up, and that way she can do some tooling around while he's reffing his games. And so hopefully I'm going to get to see her for a few minutes before I have to go to work. We tentatively made plans to go and meet at like a Panera and have a bagel or something, since it's right across from where I work at. And then that way I can see her for about half an hour and then just tear over to work and not have to worry about being late or behind or anything like that. So hopefully we get to do that. Speaking of work, today will be 10 to 2 at the bookstore, and then tonight I will be delivering, and I'm going to try to pretty much clock on as soon as I'm finished at the bookstore, because Saturdays have potential to yield a lot of money, and we can use it. Although I pretty much have rent already compiled, and I'm ahead of the game. I've got the internet to pay, and then I think that's about it. We're going to focus on getting some groceries in the house so that we can stay on track with the way that we've been eating. So things are going really good. We're proud of me. All right, so with all that said, let's go ahead and get down to quote of the day. Zen quote of the day, everyone. It's about time for some Zen. Zen quote of the day comes from C.S. Lewis, who is an author. He's written a ton of stuff. He's most well known for the Narnia series, but he's written so much stuff, and a lot of his stuff has spiritual themes, Christian themes, although you can definitely read his stuff without feeling overwhelmed by any sort of like a Christian vibe. They're very metaphoric, but tremendously good, so check him out. C.S. Lewis, good stuff. Quote says, "You do not have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. This concept is one that sometimes people struggle with, and rightly so. The reason being is because it's so easy on the physical plane to get wrapped up in physical sensation and forget the fact that the essence of who we are is actually not really very much so attached to the physical realm at all. A good way to think about this is the dream state. You know, when we are in dream, we are not focused at all on the physical plane. We are focused merely in thought process. And because of that, we still have very real sensation, very real emotion, very real experience. However, since we are not conscious, we are not aware of our body at all. And this is very much so indicative of what, we are as entities. We are able to focus our mind and our energy into having whatever experiences we want to, and we don't necessarily have to be attached to the physical realm to have said experiences. When we start to have dialogue about having experiences not attached to the physical realm, it makes people very nervous. It makes us think of death, and nobody really particularly loves to think about death, mostly because there's so many questions surrounding what death means. But in this situation, I'm not talking about death. I'm just talking about the concept of us being a spiritual entity that has a body. And so if we start to really think about the essence of who we are, it doesn't have a lot to do with our body, although a lot of times we believe that it does. Physical sensation is very compelling. I mean, you burn your finger on a stove and it hurts, and that is very compelling evidence that we are in a physical form. And that's not to say that we're not in a physical form. We are, and this experience is very real, but that is not evidence that the true essence of ourselves is a physical experience. We are having a human experience. However, the essence of who we are is very spiritual in nature. Proof of the spiritual nature is not necessarily very concrete, and that's why a lot of times when we are confronted with the concept of whether or not we're spiritual creatures or not, people tend to lean towards thinking that we are physical beings, mostly just because we like concrete evidence. We like things that we can logic out and make sense of, and a lot of the spiritual realm is contradictory to itself, and it has a lot of duality to it, and so therefore the human mind doesn't always fully understand what it's experiencing in spirit, and that requires a little bit of faith. And for some reason, faith is not something that comes easily to this physical experience. Once we realize that we are spiritual entities having this human experience and kind of fumbling about to try to figure out, how to work ourselves through this physical reality, a lot of the guilt that comes along with the human experience can be released. And we think so often that we are the sum of our actions, and we are to a certain extent, but that only applies to the physical realm. If you realize that we are having an experience and that this experience serves a purpose of figuring out and realizing the true potential of our spiritual nature, then you will realize that the sum of our actions really bears no weight upon the true worth of the spiritual entity itself. It is merely just trial and error in trying to figure out how to focus your energy, focus your purpose, and focus all of your joy and aspirations into a point of realization on the physical plane. This may all seem very complicated, and it is kind of to a certain extent. It's very hard to explain, actually, but if you can just remember that the physical sensations that you feel are simply that, they're just physical sensations, and we as spiritual entities have focused ourselves into a physical plane, and so we're having this experience. The purpose of it is to learn faith and to learn intention and to learn to be certain of our spiritual form or our spiritual entity within a physical form. And the quicker we learn that, the more fun that we can have in this realm and stop being so worried about, how we look or, what kind of success we experience in this realm. And the truth of the matter is, the less worried we are about its success and how we look, the quicker we obtain control over it and can yield what it is that we want. So first things first, you get in tune with the spiritual nature, and then physical form becomes much easier. And it seems like an oxymoron because you feel like, okay, I get my physical form in control, and then my spiritual form develops after that. And it's actually quite the opposite. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit today about the duality of being a spiritual being in a physical form, because it really does feel bizarre to think about. But I can guarantee you that the quicker that you are willing and able to become in tune with your spiritual nature, the quicker you will have peace of mind about this physical experience. And I think this is why we experience so many mental health issues in this world today, and why we have so many addiction issues, is because we have lost sight of who we truly are. And it makes it very difficult, because when we feel like we have no control over our surroundings or no control over our physical experience, then we feel out of control, and so we seek control in negative ways, or we feel crazy. And it's not to say that there aren't mental imbalances and things that cause people to be unstable, but it definitely doesn't help that we feel trapped in this physical reality with no control over anything. But once we learn that we are spiritual and that we have more control than we ever thought we did, we can really change a lot for the better, and not just for ourselves, but for all of humankind. And that right there is the true trick of it all, is it's not so much about the individual, but about the overall experience. So understanding that not only are we ourselves spiritual, but we are an extension and a focus of the same originating source of energy, the same originating God, so to speak. So, we can follow this all the way back to the ocean. We are rivers that lead right back to the ocean again. And it's a beautiful thing. Some people get scared of this spiritual stuff, but it's really the most comforting thing in the world if you dig into it and you learn about it and you have just an iota of faith. So anyway, guys, I've rambled on for long enough, but it's something I feel strongly about, and I love you guys enough to talk to you about it at length. So I will talk to you later, but I hope you have a good day, and I hope that you're still doing everything we've talked about. By now you know what it is, so I'm not going to outline it all, but I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye.